Notice the breath. Relaxing into the shoulders. Using the breath as a guide. So if you've already changed your breath into that nice yogic belly breathing, it might be too late. So the breath is a great indicator of stress and other things. You know, if we're holding the breath and we don't realize it, we can always set everything aside mentally and physically, even just for 3 breaths, and pause to feel. Feeling the inhale, expand through the belly. The exhale softens the belly. Good. On this next couple of breaths, set your intention. Think about your intention. Then we'll seal that intention in, bringing hands to heart center. Let your chin come down toward your fingers. And we'll go ahead and lift the gaze. We're going to take the fingers out toward the shoulders and start right there with those circles backwards. Make them as slow and as big as you can. So I'm even going to shrug the shoulders and get all that stuff moving back there. The shoulder blades, all the attached muscles and ligaments. And we'll come back to a neutral, elbows out wide, and tip it over side to side. And then from here, you can take your arms and drop them down. Lift them up, whatever you want to do. All right, so when you get to your side A, whatever side you started on, be there for just a nice breath or two. Using your core muscles to come back, you can feel the difference. And then we'll go to the other side. Nice to sneak in those awareness opportunities. Engage your core, come back to neutral. We're going to do our cat-cow with big arms. Inhaling, lift up through the heart. On your exhale, arch the spine, tuck your chin. Nice and flowy and easy. And then when you're coming back up through your cow pose, just settle into your mountain. And we'll do our brain activating twists. So we'll start with our right index finger and thumb touching with a straight arm. So on your inhale, bring that arm back. We're going to hold on to the right knee with the left hand. On your exhale, it's nice to open and spread through the fingers. Getting stretch through the palm and tuck the chin. And middle fingers turn. A nice sturdy pinch with those fingers. Keep going down the line with each finger. And then take your pinky. Let's hold into our twist, but you can drop your hand. So if your right hand's still in the air, let it rest onto your chair, level out your shoulders, and just be in your twist for a nice solid breath. When you're ready to inhale again, come back to your neutral pose, and we'll twist and get started in on the other side. So the inhales, the index finger reaching back. Exhale, open the hand and spread through the fingers. You're going to go until you can't go any further comfortably. And keep going down the line. It should be on the pinky finger. When you've finished your inhale, exhale your arm down and stay in your twist. The next inhale brings us back to the center. We'll lean forward. And then come back up. And then hip walk back. And we'll do our nice little spinal balance. Take the right leg and reach it out as your left arm comes up. And your exhale, release. So this time, inhale, opposite limbs. Let's just keep it simple and take this hand, so that would be your right hand, and just peel it open like this. So you have that opening through the front of your shoulder. Exhale, bring everything back to mountain. Take a long, slow, deep breath, so the movements will be slower. And the next time our right leg comes out, or your right leg, we'll leave it out there. And then we're going to take the other hand that's in the air and just bring it down. So we have lightning bolt arms, so we can point and flex and work on strengthening the muscles around the knee while we stretch the ankle. We'll circle the foot. Go around in the other direction. And then we'll point the toes to 12 o'clock and then wag the foot. On your exhale, bring everything back to neutral and maybe even a child's pose. Okay, come back up. We'll take left leg, right arm. And the left arm peels open into that lightning bolt. Then we'll drop right arm, lightning bolt arms, both sides, point and flex. We can check in with the head posture, make sure your head's drawing back. And circle your foot around a couple times in each direction. And then we'll take those toes to 12 o'clock and roll the foot in and out. Boy, I misstepped the other day. I took a step backwards off of a stair and landed on a rock, and my ankle went burnt, but it came right back to normal. I'll blame this. It was nice. It was like, woof, I don't want that to happen. All right, we're exhaling everything back down to our child's pose. And then we get to come back up nice and tall and hip walk forward. I'm popping us to let somebody in. And let's take, we're gonna take our hands to our knees and lift up the heels. And then lift up as much of the feet as you can. I'm actually stepping forward a little bit with the feet. So I can dorsiflex, flex those feet up and then lift the heels. So you can push into your knees for a little bit of resistance, building some strength in those arms. All right, and then we're gonna leave the feet down. Let's hip walk back just to strengthen the hip stabilizers. And then we're coming back forward again. Good. All right, so for low back and digestion, my favorite thing is the Apanasana or Ardha Apanasana, half. Ardha means half. So we're just going back and forth with the knee. Right knee preferably first. So making sure that we're not holding or clenching any tightness in the abdominal region. So you can allow for that little massage, if you will. And then hold the knee up, and you can hold on underneath or in front of your knee. And if you bring your face down towards your knee, there's a little bit of that stretch through the glute. You'll let the knee come away and take the leg side to side. So it's a little hip mobility for that psoas area. And then this one next it's a little bit new. We're not going into pigeon, but you may think you are. So we're not. We're going to hug the right knee in and reach down and grab, keep your right foot flexed, grab your shin or your ankle. We're just taking this greater trochanter, this big thigh bone, and just angling it out and in. So it's kind of like a pre-pigeon. We're gonna let that leg come down and stretch it out. It'll feel pretty good, I think. Stretching it out, leaning back. Okay. We're gonna take one more twist to the right. Challenging myself to remember the sequence on the other side. So we're twisting to the right. Back to the center. Let's address the left side. So we're gonna hug. Clear left. We're hugging the knee back and forth, exhaling as your knee comes in, inhaling as you have more space there for your inhale. Hold if that feels okay, bringing your face down towards your knee. We'll move that leg away, and if you try this on the other, on your right side, maybe try it on this side too. And you know your body better than I do, so always listen to that body, what it's telling you. So keeping your foot flexed, stabilizing the knee a little better. And we're going out and back. So that thigh bone is going on a diagonal and then up. Nice straight spine, in case you decided to go on vacation with that back. Okay, and then we're coming back through our neutral. We're going to stretch the leg out, using your hands on the back of your chair to inspire a stretch through the front side there. We'll come back to mountain pose and twist to the left. On your inhale, come back to your mountain pose. And we're going to go back and forth a few times. So this is in lieu of, you hear me mention Ardha Uttanasana, that's one knee moving at a time. So full Uttanasana traditionally is done lying on your back, and you're holding onto your knees and drawing your knees in and away. So we're doing the seated version. Nice for the back. It's just really nourishing, especially if you're lying down flat. Staying in your comfortable range of motion. One more. And when you come up again, the windshield wiper. Taking your feet wide, heels are up. Watch those knees. You can go any distance you like with those knees. So I've seen little bitty, I've seen none at all, you know, and then great big giant stretches. So it's up to you again. We will take our seated lunge at this point. So dropping your right knee down, left ankle check right below that knee. And really nice posture. Maybe take some circles here again, or bigger arm flows. Depends on what you want to work on, really. We'll be here for about 4 more breaths. So if you're concerned with a little lack of mobility in the digestive system, maybe lean back here and stretch a little bit more through the hip flexor. I forgot to count the breaths. I think that feels like about 4. So if you can bring your arm down, and let's plant the foot and come over to the other side. All right, get that alignment so you only have one glute on the chair. That means we need to hold on with that back hand, right? Okay, I'll just take a few, I'll say a handful of breaths here. Leaning back to inspire more of a stretch down the front of the thigh and into the hip crease. coming back through your neutral pose, dropping your hands. We'll bring that leg back. All the way back to your mountain pose. Let's line everything up. So pushing into the floor with your feet, making sure your feet are pointing forward. They get that number 11 on the outside edges of the feet. Knees are going forward. We're going to push into the floor, activate everything below your belly button and lift. It's extension, extension, extension. On your exhale, relax everything. All right, and then we can come up if you're choosing to come up. I think you'll do more standing today than I did Wednesday. So we're going to push into those tripods on the bottom of the feet, everything except the toes. And check in with your knees. Know your own body really well. So if you look down and you see this happening, you're not alone. A lot of people feel like that's normal. So angle your knees in the same direction as your, think of your middle two toes. And we'll slowly start to come up. And then take those hips side to side. You can widen the distance between your feet. All right, so I'm going to have my chair here in case I need it. Use balance or something. I know it's there. It's off to the side where you can move yours to the front. So the feet are about shoulder distance apart. Roll those shoulders up, back and down. We'll get the head put on the right place so ear holes over the shoulder. We're just taking standing lateral. Just see how that feels. In the hips. Ooh, bring the hips off to the side. Not so much the head off to the side. So the head stays in that long line with the spine. Good. And then just come on back to neutral. We're going to circle the knees a little bit. And go around in the other direction. Okay, and then back up to mountain pose. Ooh, hold on to the chairs. Wrists are about shoulder distance apart. Walk your feet back. And enjoy your downward facing dog. Maybe it's the first one of the day. You can walk your dog, pedal your feet. And there are those feet again. They have the outside edges making the number 11. And they're about hip distance apart, so fist and a half. All right, engaging your core, looking forward. Let's step that right foot forward, left heel is down. And if your knee is okay here, we're going to go back and forth. So bending the knee and then straightening. So just a little tiny range of motion, making sure you're not passing the ankle with your knee. And add the arms. So I'm going to bend my knee and come into full expression of the warrior one with cactus arms, kind of inviting the stretch through the front of the belly. And on the exhale, I'm going to straighten the knee, bring the arms together. The arms are, of course, optional. If your balance is off, hold the chair. All right, one more. Let's hold here. That feels good. Enjoy where you feel the stretch. When you're ready to exhale again, we'll rest the hands on the chair so we can come back into down dog. Keep lengthening through that spine, only if it feels right. If it feels good, keep that traction in the spine. So tailbone's moving, growing away from the ground. Engage the belly, look forward, left foot stepping forward, right foot ankles out about 45, and making sure your feet are not on that balance beam. So check in with your shoulders. If you want to take those little movements, you can. You don't have to with the knee. Starting out here, just kind of saying, okay, this is good, this feels right, or I'm going to skip the knee. And then we'll go ahead and come into warrior one with knee bent, arms out. Here's your inhale. As you're exhaling, you're straightening the leg to push up and hands coming together. Let's try for 2 more. And then we'll hold here to work on those posture muscles as we stretch the lower part of the body. On your exhale, float the arms down and step that foot back. 1 more nice down dog. We'll walk those feet forward for an upward facing dog variation. A nice little stretch, not so much through the chin, but through the heart, through the belly. If you ever feel pinching in your low back, then please back off. And you can think about lifting up through your heart. Come back to your mountain pose. We'll check in with the intention. That's everything, right? Intention and breath. And we'll take our feet wide. And there are those number 11s again. Well, just one number 11. So the outside edges of your feet are mirroring each other. We'll turn the right toes. Bend into your right knee and see your big toe, maybe your second toe if you're lucky. And then we'll take those arms out for warrior 2. Remember, if you wanted to do less, you can back your arms off. You could bend those elbows and turn your palms up, or skip the arms altogether. If, on the other hand, you felt like doing more, think about engaging your muscles into the bones. I feel it in the legs. I feel it in the arms, fingers. And then when I do that, if I dial it all the way up to 110%, my neck starts to feel strained. So then I mentally dial it back down about 90% to 90%. When you're ready to exhale again, we'll float those arms down. We'll straighten the leg, turn the toes, go to the other side. Do that toe check. So we have the big toe, the second toe. Make sure shoulders stay stacked over the hips. And here we go on the other side. Gazing at the tip of that left middle finger and deciding how far up or down you want that dial for your effort. Your breath is a nice indicator. If you're doing too much, your breath will disappear. When you're ready to exhale again, we'll float the arms down, straighten the leg, turn the toes, and heel toe or step your feet in a little bit for goddess pose or wide-legged chair pose. So goddess pose, your toes are turned out. I'm gonna sit the hips down and think straight down with your tailbone. Okay, so sometimes it's easy to do this. So my tailbone will be pointing behind me. I want it to go straight down. All right, let's do right hand on the belly, left arm up. I'm going to reach up and over. And switch. And just be nice and kind. This is in my Yoga for Healing book. I could look over there and find it right now. A nice stretch for the kidneys. Good for our elimination system. All right, let's do one more. You didn't even pay attention to your legs, did you? Look how much work they've been doing. Come up and step it all the way back and shake it all out. I think we need another down dog or a forward fold variation. And then we can come up and practice building strength in our balance. So let's take those feet hip distance apart and rock a little bit back and forth until you feel like you're centered, grounded. Get those feet rooted down. We're going to take that right leg and really root it down without locking the knee. So a little micro bend in that right knee. And then left heel will come up. If you find yourself relying on the chair, like it's your best friend. Lighten the pressure on your friend. So maybe 1 or 2 fingers. We're just gonna lift and lower that leg. You can do just the foot, right? So if you find yourself holding your breath or compensating like this, do less until your mind learns to trust that you can hold yourself up with one leg. Or maybe you'll hold the left leg up. Reach for the stars with your left hand. Right hand is optional, maybe you don't. I don't know. It's up to you. Easy face like this is, this is super easy. We're gonna lower the leg, lower the arms, come back and take a chair pose. Send the hips back. Out through the heart. Back. And shift your weight over into your left foot. Right heel's lifting. Lift and lower. Probably shows that you can turn around or you can move your chair. So my imaginary chair is right here. And try not to lift your knee higher than your hip. We're gonna stay here. I'm telling myself this is easy. My balance is having an opportunity to improve and grow. So maybe just the right arm comes out, maybe both arms. I'm holding my imaginary chair. That's gonna help. On your exhale, float everything down. Take out a wider legged chair pose. Sit the hips back any amount or none at all. The lower you go, the more work it is. Draw the belly muscles in. You can come back up. And we're doing side A again. So right leg is holding us up. This time we're going to rotate open and off to the side and then forward. So I'm starting with my toes down. Make sure you're not locking that standing knee. And if you wanted to, you could lift the whole foot. And then hold into either that free floating tree or you can plant your foot into your tree trunk, not on the knee joint. And then you can grow your branches. Brings tons of softness into your belly. And we'll bring the knee forward. Plant the foot down, chair pose, any leg position. Or turn the fan up a notch. I'm grateful this fan is not loud. Okay, so coming back to mountain pose. Let's get our hips happy on this side. And our balance muscles, so left leg is holding us up, right heel lifts, and we're hinging side to side, side to front. Slowly, so you can feel. Imagine what's going on in there anatomically. Nice tall structure of the body, so again, not compensating. Then we'll hold into our tree pose. Whatever variation of tree you would like. I miss pine trees. I think there's some out here somewhere. Soften into your belly. Well, I could stay there all day. Wonder why. That one's the easier side for me. Plant your foot. Take one more chair pose. Let's make it a wide leg. Find your hip creases. The hips back. Heart comes forward. If you wanted extra work, you can open those arms back up into lightning bolt. If you want less work, come up to mountain pose. I'm wiggling my toes to ensure my weight is toward the back of my foot rather than toward the front. And then we're going to come up and shake it all off. Okay. Let's take a nice, easy mountain pose with the feet. We're going to take our right arm up. We're going to try our Gomukhasana pose without the strap. So I'll see how I can talk you into it. So get your right hand to go maybe to the back of your head. The goal is to try to get this elbow up, pointing up toward the ceiling. And I will use this other hand sometimes. And maybe this is where you're holding. Oh, that feels good. And you can push your head back because naturally, if your arm is behind your head, sometimes this happens. So we want to try to stay as tall and erect as possible. And just for fun, we'll take, if you wanted to, you can take this arm back behind you and see if you can shimmy it up your spine and imagine clasping your fingers, your fingertips. And if you're very hypermobile, you probably can. All right, let's untie ourselves out of this knot. So we're releasing bottom hand, releasing top hand, very gentle, and just lean forward and kind of ragdoll, shake those arms out. And for us. All right, let's do the other side. Left arm's coming up. And maybe this is all you have, that's fine. I'm cupping the back of the head. So if you feel a stretch, great, stay there. I don't feel it yet, so I'm gonna crawl the fingers down back of my braid and then take right fingers and help that elbow to point up as I'm pushing the head back. Noticing my knees are locking, so I'll remind everybody to unlock theirs just in case. Hold your breath. And stay there or take that right arm back behind you and see if you want to shimmy it up the spine. Hold your breath. Release bottom hands. Release the top hand, and ever so kindly release both arms. Good. We'll see if that loosened up some of the tightness that is often felt in Warrior Two. So let's come back to Warrior Two. The right toes will turn, right knee bends, and bring your arms out. As if we wanted another balance challenge. Maybe you start looking toward the tip of your right middle finger, and then you shift your gaze over to the left middle finger. So moving the head messes with the proprioceptions, proprioceptors in the brain. They can send us off balance, so hopefully you have something to hold on to if you need it. All right, and then staying with your Warrior Two traditional, staying at the, gazing at the right middle finger. Well, let's go into side angle. Go ahead and drop those arms, leaning actively towards your right knee. And then maybe we'll take that left arm up and over. Or you push into that left foot, nice and solid into the floor. You can feel grounded to be uplifted. Extend your muscles. Working and reaching. Engage your core, come back up through Warrior Two. We might as well go into reverse warrior. Back through Warrior Two. Release those arms, straight leg, turn the toes. Let's go to the other side. Warrior Two. And remember, if your shoulders have had enough, you can back off completely if you like. So I'm going to start with that head turn, starting with gazing at the tip of the left middle finger and then turning my head toward the right. It's nice too because you can tell if but you maybe didn't realize if your arm was sagging. You could use that as a gazing point. Like, oh, didn't realize my arm was way down there. All right, when you're back to your left, we're going into side angle. That's right, drop those arms. Powerful side angles. So tense, stake that knee if it's backed off. If you're taking care of knee, that's okay. Make sure it's not passing your ankle. And then grounding down through right foot to extend left or right arm. Breathe here. Keep that neck nice and long. So if you feel like your head's tilted, untilted. Let's take our reverse warrior coming up, and that left palm flips up. Back through Warrior Two. Release. Straighten the leg and turn those toes and mosey on back to your neutral. Let's take a down dog to make everything nice and symmetric. You can come back up. And if you are so inclined, you can join me in the eagle pose, an eagle flow. So maybe we'll take right arm underneath the left. Hugging is always a nice option, alternative. And the knees can be bent a little bit. So maybe today we do our circles. Let's try for 2 circles in each direction. So I'm going to start to lift the elbows up to 12 o'clock and then go around. I'm going clockwise, doesn't matter which way. So just try for 2 in each direction. It should feel good. Use your core. And make sure you're breathing. Of course you are. Get back to your starting point. We're going to release those wings and take them out to flat. Get the shoulders, get the neck. Yeah, there we go. And then we can cactus the arms again. And we'll take the left arm underneath the right. Hug or eagle. So whatever way you started, go in the opposite direction. And if you feel like 2 circles, great. If you just want to do 1 circle in each direction, that's up to you. Make sure you're breathing. Great. Oh, it's gonna feel good to let go of these arms. So let them go nice and gentle, nice and easy. Flap your wings. Not just the arm parts, but the shoulders as well. And then we'll take our gentle bang a gong kidney taps. And we'll go ahead and come down to a seated position so we can work on our core muscles a little bit more. Remember to slow motion sit. Okay, so I'm telling myself a joke in my head I was going to share, but I remembered it's on recording, so I'm not going to. Nice and tall. Practice getting the core muscles fired up. I remember somebody came up to me in a class years ago and they said, how do I know if I'm engaging those muscles? I didn't have a good answer. So I've been working on that. So how do you know? Tapping sometimes fires those muscles up. Awareness, of course, if that's key. So if I'm just leaning back, as long as it doesn't hurt your back, then that I can feel the muscles fire up here. And then when I come back, I purposefully relax those muscles. So if we're over engaging, that overworks the muscles. So we got to make sure we give them a break. So I'm going to lean back. I'm going to lean back. Fire up muscles. Good posture. Because this can easily happen, right? Roll the shoulders back and then come forward. Oh, we might as well, let's do a counter pose for that, would be here, right? Arching and rounding, softening and letting it go. So it might look like lean back, holding on, right? Find your edge, the one that works well for you. Then coming up. And remember to soften, exhale, soften, come forward. I say that a lot. I like to soften, I like to take naps. So we're coming up and leaning back and working. I'm just breathing regularly. You can bring up a leg, maybe the arms come forward. And then we're going to be nice to ourselves and come back and lean forward. Release. Inhale up. And this time try exhaling back. And the exhale helps to hold and engage those muscles. Switch your legs. Inhale up. Exhale, lean forward, child's pose. And it doesn't have to be a huge range of motion. It can be a little bitty, right? Listening to your body, maybe you want a little bit more today. But always try to keep one foot down at a time to save the low back. All right, maybe we'll do one more for each leg. So I feel like the abdominals and the low back are buddies. Unfortunately, the abdominals like to they take their smoke breaks way more than the back does. So we're done with that, and we're going to try to release those muscles. So they work together to help lift things if we're lifting correctly, if we're moving correctly through our day. Circling around nice and gentle and go around in the other direction. And come back up and cat-cow the spine. Exhale and arch and round. Inhale, lift up through the heart. Okay, and then find your neutral pose. Before we move into our pigeon pose, we'll do a few little hand exercises, or maybe just one. I don't know. Let's see. We're going to start with just one hand. We're just pinching and opening, pinching and opening. So it does activate the brain, it's just not really challenging. So we're going to go in reverse. So the challenge here is to remember to breathe, and then maybe speed it up. The other hand, pinch like okay, middle finger okay, ring finger okay, pinky, ring. Make sure you're softening, relaxing your shoulders. And then when you get to the pinky, we'll be done with that hand. You can shake it out. Whatever feels good here. Now maybe we'll do a little bit more challenging. That's optional, right? So this hand's going to do pinky and thumb. This hand will do index finger and thumb. Why am I doing this on video? I know I'm going to mess it up. Let me back that up. I'll do the best I can. Open, and then this hand ring finger, this hand middle finger, ring finger, middle finger, and ring. Index and pinky. See where I'm going with that? Let's do same thing on the way back. So index or pinky here, pinky and thumb, index and thumb here, middle, ring, ring, middle, pinky, index. Another thing you can play around with when you're bored, right? And stretch those hands out. Might as well take a seat. Stretch them out, lift them up, and release. Ooh, let's twist here. Twist. Relax into those shoulders. And then we'll come back to neutral. Twist the other way. Back to neutral we go. Lean forward. And then it's time for pigeon. If you're not doing pigeon for one reason or another, if you have hip issues, you can just get some mobility in that hip by gentle movements. So if you're going into pigeon, we're going to do our pre-pigeon first again. So we did this earlier in the class. So I'm going to hug the right knee in with my right hand. Well, not my right hand, I'm near you. The other hand takes your shin. This foot stays flexed. Spine is straight. Oop, this way. In and out. And the other movement, this one I've done lying down. Not a big fan of it seated, it doesn't feel that great. So I'm going to stick with this. And then find ankle onto knee if it works like that. If your body works like that today. Revisit a long spine. You can get a little bit more mobility in here. If you one more to stretch. You can lean forward. Ready to inhale, come back to your mountain pose. We'll unfold the leg and stretch it out. Get some nourishment into the knee. Some faux nourishment, some heat, some imaginary nourishment. And then we'll do the other side. So maybe leaning forward again to start. And we'll hug that left knee in, flexing the left foot, holding on to left knee with left hand, other hand comes across, and we're going like this, side to side. If you're really tight, maybe your movements are a little smaller. You want to keep ease in too. So if you're really, really tight, and you might find this a little bit, I don't want to say unbearable, but intense, that might be a better word. All right, pigeon time. Keep your foot flexed and active. And remembering if you're hugging your knee, that might be because you're really tight and it's pointing up. So we want to not hug, we want to allow for the stretch to move that knee down without forcing. Tall spine, maybe hinge forward. With your inhale, come back. We'll stretch that leg out, maybe leaning back to get a nice extension. Come back to neutral. Oh, love on that knee. That's what we forgot. Side of the knee and behind it. Come back nice and tall. Rub your hands together so they at least feel symmetric, and we're activating both hemispheres of the brain. Gather your intention or create a new intention as you finish up with your self-massage, remembering to skip any parts of the body that have had a lift. Starting with your right leg, lightly brush stroking up to the groin, left leg, and groin, belly, right armpit, left arm, the armpit area, sternum. Start to relax back into the chair. Keep that tapping motion and bring it up to the crown of the head, to the tops of the ears. You're rumbling like there's a giant tornado outside, but I don't hear any sirens. Oh, so we're probably good. And take your thumbs to the base of your skull. Oh, there we go. And then face fingers, sandwich the earlobes. Both directions, then lighten the pressure on your fingers on your jawbone to the chin. Lightly brush stroke down the front of your throat to your heart. And rest. Allow yourself permission to let go of everything. Thoughts, physical tension, that were only that easy. Exhale does slow the heart rate down. So it's always an invitation on the exhale to release, soften, let go. So noticing the breath in the nostrils. Watching and making sure that we're taking full and complete breaths and not those short little choppy ones. So belly is rising all the way until your inhale stops. Beginning your exhale and beginning softening into the belly. Finish that exhale until the exhale stops. Keeping that gentle cycle, not forced, very easy, effortless breathing. Softening, releasing into your face muscles as we begin to bring your awareness there. And awareness around into your whole head, including your ears. The breath is in the foreground, the body noticing is in the background. So noticing your neck, breathing and becoming aware of your shoulders, your shoulder blades. Bring your awareness from the top of your arms. It connects into the shoulders. And let that awareness drip all the way down through the elbow, the wrists, and into your hands. All 10 fingers. Just notice. Become aware of your nice, easy breath flow as you take that breath and your awareness into your upper back. And it melts all the way down to your mid back and low back, softening as your awareness travels all the way into your tailbone. Awareness into the breath as you're bringing your breath and awareness back up to the front side of the torso this time. Collarbones, the sternum, the ribs, the abdomen. Send an extra breath or two into the abdominal region. And shift your awareness into the hip sockets. Let your breath and awareness travel down from the tops of the legs, through the knees, through the bottom of the legs, into the ankles and your feet. Becoming aware of all 10 toes. And making any minor adjustments mindfully so you can just sit in stillness for a few breaths, a few precious moments. Thoughts popping in, back to the breath and appreciating the stillness as if you were deep within the woods. Windless days, perfect temperature, just surrounded by beautiful plants. You can just sit on a rock and be still, being in the scent of the earth. You can slowly start to deepen that breath. Bring movement with wiggling fingers and toes, and wrists and ankles. Planting those feet back into the earth so you can rise those arms up. Bring your palms together all the way down through heart center. Thank you for taking time out of your day to practice your yoga. Appreciate you guys. Namaste.